Let me show you how to edit your forms in ChatGPT. So follow me to my desktop right now. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Jotform. On this video, I'm going to show you how to edit your forms right inside of ChatGPT. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and jump into ChatGPT and build our first form to show you how to edit, okay? So let's go ahead and send over this requirement, and it's going to build a form for me right inside of here. And we're going to edit several things inside of this form, including add and modifying fields, delete and duplicating fields, moving fields within your form, modifying field settings, bulk edit form fields, and undo and redo changes. So all of that can be done right inside of ChatGPT, okay? So let's go ahead and allow ChatGPT to create our form. Now be aware that you do need to be connected with Jotform inside of ChatGPT. To do that, go to your settings right here, go to apps, and in apps, you should be connected with Jotform. If you haven't, go ahead and add more, search for Jotform and connect, okay? So here we go, the form is being built as we speak right inside of ChatGPT. So we'll be able to do several things inside of ChatGPT, including adding and modifying fields. So let's wait a bit for this to be finished. Here we go, the form has now been created successfully. I can go ahead and share my form straight away, or I can make modifications. And what I want to do now is edit this form. So first off, I want to add a field to know if they are young or they are elderly. Okay, so let's go ahead and ask this right here. Here we go, sending this off, and I'm asking it to add a new field. So ChatGPT is going to understand my request and it's going to make that edit right inside of here. Okay, so let's wait for that change to take effect. Here we go, it's now done. Let's go ahead and view our form so we can see that change being reflected. So here it is, it's now asking for the age range. So we have a complete form built with ChatGPT with all the requirements that we need. Now, what if I want to modify one of these elements? Maybe I want to remove something because I don't need it, or make a modification. For example, for the full name, maybe we also want the middle name. So let's request a modification. So again, let's jump into the chat section and ask for that right now. Here we go, sending this off, and now it's going to make that modification on this form. Yes, let's go ahead and allow. And here we go, the change has now been reflected. It is now asking for the first name, middle name, and last name. So right now, you just saw that we can add and modify elements right inside of ChatGPT. Now, how about deleting and duplicating fields? So now let's just say that the form that was just built, I want to make a modification. Maybe I don't need to know the type of trip. So let's go ahead and remove that field right inside of ChatGPT. Here we go, sending this off, and I'm asking it clearly that I want to delete that specific field, okay? So let's go ahead and allow this to edit the form. And here we go, the change has now been reflected and it was now removed. So let's go ahead and view this form. Here we go. And let's scroll down here and it is now gone, okay? Now, how about duplicating a field right inside of ChatGPT? Let's find a field that would be useful to duplicate. So I'm gonna duplicate this one because maybe I just wanna change what the question is going to be. So I'm gonna duplicate this one. What would make your trip perfect for you, right? So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT right here. Here we go, sending this off, and it's gonna duplicate that specific field. Now this could be useful, especially when you spend a lot of time or one of these elements is complex, then maybe it's useful to just duplicate it and make a small change to it, like changing the question, but you get the idea. And let's wait for this to be reflected. Here we go, it's now creating the duplicate, and let's go ahead and view this form right now. Let's scroll a bit down here, and here we go. It is now duplicated. Here it is. What will make this trip perfect for you? And it's available right here too. So now it's been duplicated. So it's super easy and practical to delete and duplicate fields right inside of ChatGPT. Now that's not all that ChatGPT can do with Jotform. It can also move fields within the form. So for example, let's move one of the fields to the top. For example, so the first thing we're asking is for the name, email, and phone number. Maybe we want to move the destination of interest to the third spot. So let's go ahead and ask it. Here we go, sending this off, and ChatGPT should understand our requirements to move this to the third spot on our form. So let's go ahead and wait for the changes. Here we go, the change has now been reflected and we can view it right here. Destination of interest has now been moved upwards, all right? Now that's a quick change that we can do. Now, how about rearranging the field. For example, right now we have these fields here. Maybe we can do a rearrange via ABC, or how about another one? Let's see this one. Okay, the accommodation preferences. Let's do the ABC from here. So it's going to rearrange it inside the field. Now this is just a quick use case, but you have different use cases that you can make right here on ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and rearrange this. Here we go, sending this off, and it's going to rearrange these to be alphabetical order. Okay, so let's wait for that. And here we go. The changes are now taking effect, and it is now in alphabetical order. So you can see how we can rearrange a field inside of ChatGPT. So it's practical in some use cases. All right. So let's go ahead and make more modifications. Now let's go ahead and modify specific fields inside of here, like doing several things like changing names, adding a help description, making it required, not required, and several changes, okay? So let's get started by changing a name of a field. So for example, the accommodation preferences, maybe we want to change that to something else that's maybe more formal. So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT. Here we go, sending this off, and it's going to understand my requirements, which is that specific name, and it's going to make it more formal, okay? So ChatGPT is going to think and give me a better name for that specific field. Here we go, it just made the changes, and it's now preferred accommodation requirements. So it added a better touch to this, a more formal touch in this case. All right, so let's make another change. How about making this one required? So let's go ahead and ask it. Make this field required. Here we go, and it's going to understand that it's this one right here. And here we go, the changes now took effect, and it is now required. It wasn't required before, and now it is just by asking ChatGPT. Now, how about doing something interesting? Now, let's go ahead and see the form right now. How about making this field have more space? For example, with the question for this one, are there any must-have or must-avoid details for your trip? Maybe the space is not big enough, and let's go ahead and change that, okay? We're gonna do twice that space, okay? So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT right now. Here we go, sending this off right now, and it's gonna make that specific question field larger. So let's wait for that to take effect. Here we go, it just took effect, and we can see that the field for the text is now larger. So again, changes made right inside of ChatGPT really easily. Now, how about adding some help text for that specific question? For example, let's go ahead and tell it right now. And here we go, we just sent this off. Let's go ahead and allow it to edit the form, and it's gonna add that help text for that specific question so people understand what that question is going to be for. So let's wait a bit. And here we go, the modification is now taking effect. Let's go ahead and view this form. All right, let's see our form updated. Let's scroll down here, and here it is. When I hover over this, we got the help text for that specific field. So you can see how practical that is. Instead of me doing this manually or even thinking about what I have to add for the help text, ChatGPT did it for me. So it saves me a lot of time. Now, how about doing bulk edits? Let's do a quick one right here. Let's make everything required. So some of the fields here, you can see that they are not required, but how about doing a bulk edit and making them required? So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here we go, sending this off right now, and it's gonna make that changes for me. And here we go, now the form has been updated, making all the fields required with this bulk edit. Now that's one of the quick changes that you can do here with the bulk edit right inside of ChatGPT. Now, how about doing something else? How about moving and organizing fields together? So it's going to do a rearrange. So it's going to do a bulk edit on the whole form. So again, let's go ahead and do this right now. Here we go. The changes have now taken effect. Let's go ahead and view our form now, and it should be reorganized. So we can now see that it has little lines here for sections. This is a section for trip details, and it's organized. Then we got the budget and booking timeline. And here's more changes, special requirements and concerns. And it has now been reorganized with the bulk edit option right here. So it's super easy and practical to do that right here. Now, how about another bulk edit option? Now let's go ahead and hide specific fields. Here we go, sending this off, and now it's going to hide fields that are multiple choice questions. And it's not going to be practical in this case, but it gives you an idea how bulk edit saves you a lot of time and how you can apply it for your use case. So let's go ahead and send this off, and it should update in a bit. Here we go. Let's go ahead and view our form. Let's view this, and the multiple choice questions should now be hidden. Now in this case, we're not able to view them because they have now been hidden. So it's super easy and practical. Now, how about undoing and redoing changes? Yes, that can also be possible here in ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and undo this last change. Here we go, sending this off, and it's going to undo this change right now. Here we go. The changes are now taking effect, and it's undoing the change that we made last time, which is hiding all the multiple choice questions. Now those fields should now be visible because we didn't undo, and here they are. The multiple choice questions are now back. So it's super easy to come back when a change has been made. And there's also the option to redo. So again, let's go ahead and tell it to redo the last change. Let's go ahead and send this off, and it's gonna go ahead and redo it now. So as you can see, it's super practical to do this right inside of ChatGPT because the changes can be made just by chatting with the AI right here. Now, the good thing about this is that it can save you a lot of time. It can even think of details that you wouldn't think about. For example, what to add as the help guide for a specific question, or redo the names of all the fields to something more formal. And all these changes can be done right here. So it's easy and practical to do it in ChatGPT. So to edit forms, this is a great option. So I hope you like this video. Please let me know here in the comments what you think about the available changes that can be made on ChatGPT and what you would like to see in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification to get notified when new videos come out. And that's a wrap.